I definitely don't like instant coffee.
Hi again. In an earlier video I told you that I am going to get some pannier for my bike, and at that moment I didn't know exactly what panniers I was going to buy, but I told you I opted for hard panniers.
This summer I will buy some panniers for my bike.
Now I had bought me panniers from Bumot, and they are from Bulgaria. I have read a lot of them and seen a lot of videos on YouTube, and for what I understand they are pretty good. So that's why I chose Bumot. So the first thing I will do is to mount the pannier rack on the left side of the bike, and then I will mount the rack on the right side, and after that I will tighten it all so it's snug. And as a last step, I will remove one bolt at a time and put some Loctite on the bolt, and then tighten the bolt to the correct torque spec. But the first thing I will do is to remove the top case and the saddle of the bike, and then I will continue with the rest of the work. Starting off, removing the seat. And after that I have to remove those 4 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And after that I also have to remove both passenger foot pegs. The passenger foot pegs on both sides, and then I'm able to mount the pannier rack. And those 4 bolts is Torx, and it's number 40. And I am also going to need this. After I have removed those 4 bolts, then I have to remove the passenger foot pegs. I think all the dismounting is ready, and now I have to pack up the pannier rack and all the bolts and washers that are included. The first thing to do is to put 5mm aluminium spacers in the back position, and then put the 9mm aluminium spacers in the front position. So probably this is the 5mm and this is the 9mm. So that's the first thing I will do. Five millimeters and 9mm, and then I have two different M8 bolt. One is 50mm and one is 40mm, and the 50mm will be at the front and the 40mm will be at the back fastening points. So if I start with the left side, and this is the left side pannier rack, and it should go like this, and the shorter one in the back with a washer, and the longer one in the front with a washer, like that. And then I have to installing the foot pegs using the OEM bolts and with this black spacer. The spacer should compensate for this steel frame and be mounted in the front, and that this one just should be placed like this. As I mentioned before, I will mount everything in its correct place and just fasten it so it's correct mounted, and then I will tighten it, and after that I will remove one bolt at a time to apply the Loctite. So for now everything should be able to move. That's the left side. And now the right side. Okay, it's a little dark here, but I hope you can see anyway the passenger foot peg. Just so it's held in place. And then this bar. I don't know if it's an up or a down on this one. I think it's just to put it on. Like this. That's everything in place. And now I will tighten all those bolts to the correct torque, and I will also add some type of thread locker, a blue one that are medium hard. And the instruction doesn't say anything about torque spec for the bolt in this installation. The only thing it says it's that is M8 40 millimeters and M8 50 millimeters and M6 bolts. And they don't mention anything about if I should use any thread lock on the bolts either. But I have managed to figure out that for the M8 bolt, this 4 bolts, the torque is 23 Newton meter, and the same goes for the bolt here in the passenger foot peg. They should also been torqued to 23 Newton meters. And I have seen at the original bolt that they have used blue thread lock on them before, and I also have managed to find on another web page in another instruction guide that they recommend to use the blue thread lock. That's the medium hard thread lock for those bolt. And then the only bolt that they actually are mentioned in this instruction, those M6 bolts with self-locking nuts. The torque spec should be 9.7 Newton meters, and I guess that's okay to torque them either to 9 or maybe 10 Newton meters, because my torque wrench doesn't allow me to set the torque to 9.7 Newton meters, but I guess 10 Newton meters also is okay. And the only thing that Bumot is mentioned about these two bolts, one on the right side and one on the left side, is that they not should have any thread lock on them. So for those M8 bolts, the bolt that holds the rack in place, 1, 2, 3, 4, and for those 4 bolts total that holds the passenger foot pegs, it should be 23 Newton meters, and you should apply blue thread lock. And for those M6 bolt on this rear bar, you should not use any thread lock, but you should torque them to 9.7 Newton meters. Blue thread lock and 23 Newton meters. I have 20 Newton meters. Here you have 30, and there you have 23 Newton meters. And thread lock.
And 23. And of course, this one. But it is what I have. Okay. The opposite side, peg. And the side thread lock.
And 23 Newton meters with a bigger one. Like that. But otherwise I think this is as it should be. In a later video I will show you the panniers on and maybe give you some measuring how wide the bike is with the pannier on, and maybe do some type of comparison with the Vario cases, the old one I have. I hope you will find that interesting, and I also hope you like this video. See you again in next video, and until this, thank you for watching, and bye bye.